The sun was shining, the sky open wide. Your words still fly like flags through our town, our guide. Stand up for truth, you called us to do. And after the bars, we are Charlie, raising red, white, and blue.
What's your name?
None of your business, unfortunately, but...
Okay, hello, nice to meet you, none of your business.
Thank you, I appreciate it. So, do you love America?
Yes, I do.
I hate America. Every state in the USA should be an independent country. What do you think of this?
Well, I just first have to ask, since you hate the country, do you plan to leave?
What do you mean by that?
Do you plan to go live in another country?
No, I do not.
Let me tell you something.
Your face is an idiot.
America is the only country where even those who hate it refuse to leave. That's how you know you live in a great country.
Can you prove that? Well, thank you. May I have a hat?
No. So let me ask you, none of your business. Who do you plan to vote for?
I plan to vote for Kamala Harris.
Why?
I mean, you answered my question, so I'm done here. Like, there are people waiting.
Can you tell me her greatest accomplishment?
No, I can't.
Can you tell me a single accomplishment?
I cannot. I want to leave. Like.
With stripes on our shoulders and stars in our sights. So we'll rise hand in hand for the good of this land. We'll carry Charlie's flame. Let the flag still wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave. Through sorrow and toil, our voices ring true. We'll stand for the stars and the red, white, and blue. We'll carry Charlie's flame. Let the flag still wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave. Through sorrow and trial, our voices ring true. And after the bars, we are Charlie, blazing red, white, and blue. We are Charlie, you're Charlie, I am Charlie, a reborn man.
Hey guys, welcome to the After the Bar show, possibly Morning Mayhem show. It's one of those shows. I am so glad to be here today. Man, I am glad to be here today. I have a few things to talk about, but we're just gonna it's gonna be like a community check-in on steroids. I have a few things to share. I'm just so glad to be here. I was trying to think, wait, what am I sharing? But anyways, how are you guys doing today? Sorry I missed yesterday. It was just a busy day. My wife and I woke up early, and then I did a little work on the other channel. We had to pick up our daughter early from school, so the day just got away from me. We went to Goodwill. So the day got away from me, but I'm here today, and I'll catch up on all my phone calls today, guys. You know who you are. Yeah, I guess that's it. So I'm sure you guys have been watching the news, or maybe not. I feel like my wife showed me a video today about checking out, putting your phone away, your devices away, just to check out like completely, not just like, hey, it's a family day, we'll go somewhere, but we all got our phones still. And, like, oh, wait, I'm going to do night yard tonight, because my family day is usually on Sunday. We're talking about like a complete put your phones in the drawer, stay out of the office type of disconnect day. So I think I'm going to try that this weekend, see how I feel. I mean, there's no way that it's going to be a negative, right? It's absolutely going to be a positive no matter what happens that day, if as long as all the electronics are turned off. My only issue with that, and I'm going to do it, I'm not going to fight it. My natural instinct is to fight it, and I kind of joked around about that with her this morning, but my only issue is with that is like when, well, I guess I can't even say that I have an issue with that, because I always put like news stories off a little bit. You know, I watch a bunch of stuff, but I already had other things planned, so I do the other things instead of doing like breaking news. Except for certain things like Ozzy's, when Ozzy died, I came right on. I felt like that was important for me, and like I know a few of you in my community. But there's other things that I see everyone just come bam, bam, breaking news. And I feel like that's what I should be doing if I want, you know, just a cool, successful channel, you know, my retirement channel, you know, I'm going to ride this channel off into the sunset. But I don't really do that. So I guess what I'm saying is I can't, you know, on Sunday, I'm going to be like thinking I'm missing something. I'm missing a story that could make or break, you know, the rest of my future. That's nonsense. That's nonsense. And I'm just now processing this like in real time with you right now. So, but I know that's what would happen had I not just processed that. On Sunday, I'd be like, oh man, you know what I mean? That's just the way my mind works. It's a little cuckoo. But anyway, so yeah, I'm going to try that this Sunday. Oh, but having said that, I haven't done it yet. And there's just lots of craziness. Like, what did I put in the thumbnail again? I can't remember. Well, let's do a check-in. Let's check in with everyone first. Hey, Ned and Coco Speed Shop. Good to see you. Jen Marie, Susie, good to see you. Susie Q3, awesome to see you. Tan Louise, how are you doing? And Jen, I am definitely going to call you as soon as I hit. If you're available, I don't want to assume you're always available to speak with me. But when I'm done with the show today, as soon as the download of the recording starts, I'm gonna call you and we'll get our show figured out. We're gonna do a really awesome show on the troubled teen industry. I'm super excited about that. I think we've been super excited about that since December. It's been a long time. I'm sorry. And it's my fault. It's definitely not Jen's fault. That's my fault. Yeah. So anyway, Shell Dub's in the house. What's going on, Dub? James Collins cares. Good to see you, brother. James, we should talk today too, because I want to have you come on in the mornings. I don't think I'm doing a Saturday show like we originally had planned to do like a Saturday show of just like strictly like recovery topic. Maybe we can do that during the week. And I'm sorry if that I never followed through with that with you before, like the Saturday show. But I know summer came, I'm not blaming this on you, but I just know summer came and we both got busy. With that, you were busy producing and being a blessing to people, and I was busy just, you know, on the struggle bus. But like I said the other day, there's a beautiful light shining at the end of this tunnel. I talked about like some of the good things that have happened since, since Charlie Kirk's assassination. That's just, I don't know. It's really has pushed me back into thinking, what can I do to help others? What can I do to be a voice? Not just a voice, to be a Christian voice. That doesn't mean everyone in the community has to be a Christian. We've talked about that before. I don't want a complete Christian audience. I want all walks of life in this audience. And the other day when I played that video that we started with today, I lost 15 subscribers from playing that video that says Jesus is king at the end. And I'm totally fine with that. Like, I wish you would stay. It's, you're going to hear some really good conversations once we get this thing dialed in back doing the morning shows. So it's a bummer that way, but if that offends you so much that you can't even hear the name Jesus or, hear conversations about that, then yeah, I would unsubscribe too. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, where did I leave off? Ned and Coco, Speed Shop, how you doing today? Cat K in the house. Good morning to you. Ben Bacon Bits. Thank God Ben is here. That's my dad. You guys know that, right? I don't know if you guys knew that. Who else is here? King Yeti. Jesus is king. Thank you, King Yeti. And thank you so much for being a part of the show. And welcome to the show. Oh, wow. I'm at the end. So anyways, did I play anything from Secular Talk? The what's his name? Kyle Kalinsky. Did I play anything from him the last show? He has like these really, I wouldn't say like these kind of grandiose what's that? I can't be clickbait titles and thumbnails. And I fell for it. But I do like watch his stuff because I like to hear what the other side. He is like the epitome of the far left, and he goes a little center sometimes too. But he's delusional on almost everything. And 2 hours ago I would have said he's delusional on everything. But he has this video that says, unalive them all, mass shooting hits homeless camp after Fox host called for violence. Now, these two things are probably not related, but unfortunately, because of what the Fox host said, maybe it is. Maybe someone heard that and said, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go unalive some homeless people right now. And, I've talked about the homeless situation. I've been homeless before, like frostbite on my feet, homeless. And I can't stand people who abuse the homeless, who bully the homeless, who call for the homeless to be unalived because they're homeless and have mental health issues. We talked about this a little bit the other day where I was saying that, yeah, if there's no room in hospitals, that the extremely dangerous homeless people definitely need to be protected, not only from themselves, not only from the community, but from themselves. And because it could be just a med adjustment, a simple medication that they need to take every day, twice a day, 3 times a day, who knows, right? So we need to incarcerate them for a little bit to do that. Then if there's no room in hospitals, then that needs to be done. It needs to be done. And I don't want the government to step in to have to do it, because we all know where that leads. We've had government in kind of incarcerations of the mentally ill, back in, I don't even know what decades, but probably 40s, 50s, 60s, when lobotomies were a thing. They just abused the homeless like guinea pigs, and it was ugly and it was sickening. So the government definitely needs to stay out of it. Maybe local government can fund some things to a private entity. I don't know. I don't know the solution to all of that. I just know that what happened last week with Irina Garutska in Charlotte could have been avoided. I mean, the guy had been let out like 3 or 4 times on a cashless bail system that Louisiana had to implement because their jails and prisons are overflowing. And so they just do it. So I don't blame them for what happened, but I blame the prosecutor maybe who didn't like read his entire history and look at all the mental health notes that have to be there. They have to be there. And maybe a cashless bail might not be appropriate for him. But anyways, I don't want to get sidetracked on all that. So let's play this. Well, no, I still got to do my good mornings. Hey, Grateful, good to see you. So happy you're here. I feel like I haven't talked to you or seen you in a very long time. She says, good morning. I was homeless at 19, lived in a Ford pickup with a guy. It was dangerous. And yes, as time went on, we found out he was mentally ill. And my folks made me move away. Blessing in disguise. Yeah, absolutely. I've talked to a lot of homeless people. I used to bring every Sunday after church before I was in a relationship. I would go down to the homeless shelter here in town and I would bring a meeting. I called it an AA meeting, but it usually ended up just being like an extension of the Bible study that I had just before I left church to go downtown. And it became increasingly not safe for me to do it. And so think about that for a second, right? I'm an ex-con, ex-gang member, have a ton of fights, a ton of knife fights, been in riots, all those things that you can think of in the dirtiest, ugliest, most violent prisons in America, in the federal system, I've been to. And it was increasingly dangerous for me to go downtown to bring my Bible and to talk about God and recovery to these homeless men. That should tell you something. There's a problem, and there was a lot of drugs and alcohol going on at this shelter at the time. They would find just syringes and cases of beer everywhere, stashed bottles of alcohol. It was all bad, and it sucked when I had to stop doing that. It was very important to me to do that. And even my wife will tell you, when she first met me, when you're working with others and you're practicing gratitude on a daily basis and you're helping people and you're connected to God, she would tell you I was like a glowing ball of like this love spark, right? And I don't say that with ego. I say that because people would tell her and tell me, like, there's a peacefulness coming from you, Sam, and I don't even like people, but for some reason I like you. This is like 4 years ago, and it really made me feel amazing. Now, having said that, I do feel shortly thereafter I was spiritually attacked, and that's a whole nother show. And I don't want to get too far out there in the weeds, although I love talking about that stuff. So anyways, let's get over to this guy. Hey, there I am, all zoomed in. So Kyle Kulinski, he's a character. I've only been hip to him for a few months, and I usually did it for like oppositional research on news stories that I was trying to cover, and it was just lie after lie after lie, and he has like this really like sarcastic, pompous smirk and laugh, and he's always trying to be tough and call people out, and we need to just punch people in the face, that kind of thing. Well, I see that title and thumbnail, so I was like, yeah, let's check it out. And this is what he said. And you guys probably all know about this story already, but like I said it before, I'm always late, but I want to talk about it. So let's talk about it.
So the other day on the show, we talked about how the fascism in this country is getting worse and worse by the day. It truly is. Things where we thought there were lines in the past, there are no lines anymore. And people can say the most disgusting, deplorable, deranged, disgusting things you've ever heard, and it's nothing. It's water off a duck's ass. Nobody even talks about it. So at the same time that people are getting fired for literally quoting Charlie Kirk directly and posting it, his own words, they're getting fired for doing that. You have Fox News hosts who are saying, let's kill all homeless people, and they get a little slap on the wrist, have to give a half-assed apology, and then they don't get fired. There's no consequences whatsoever. This is the country we live in. So...
Stop right there, buddy boy. It is the country we live in, but for you to show some kind of, especially right after Charlie Kirk has been unalived, right? And then this guy says that, we'll talk about that here in a second. He's like, what's this? And you want to claim free speech, and the left is like the biggest cancel culture. Well, they were. It's been neutralized. But he wants to say, free speech this, free speech that. Why are these people that have been super ugly and desecrating memorials for Charlie Kirk losing their jobs? It's an outrage. He wants to show this disingenuous outrage towards Fox News and right-wing newscasters. I just hate saying right-wing and left-wing, but I have to for these stories. I just hate it, though. What about Charlie Kirk's free speech, right? It's punishment for that is death, but losing your job is an issue. But punishment for Charlie Kirk's free speech is death. But because a teacher in North Carolina, and I kind of disagree with teachers losing their jobs for things that they say or do in their private life to an extent because they're educators. As long as they're not bringing it to the classroom. I'm saying that now after a few days of just kind of taking all this in and processing it. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that per se, as long as they're not saying it in the classroom. But anyways, if you represent my company and you work for me, you're done if you say something like that. And a lot of people, a lot of companies, I think even left-wing companies are like, look, we're trying to be super undercover here. We're not trying to be out there laughing. And they're so ugly about it. And I just mean their spirit, their vibe, their whole like vibration, everything. They're so ugly about it. They're just like, F you, Charlie Kirk. I mean, it's disgusting, man. And it blows me away. And I hate stereotyping people. But they all have a purple strand or like a shaved head with a thing down here, or like there's like these middle-aged cat women, which look, I know if I wasn't married right now, I'd be a middle-aged cat woman. I would be, I'd just live with my cats and I'd just be, doing whatever, tattooing, whatever I'd be doing. But I just happened to find, the love of my life, at a later age. So I'm not saying all cat women are, ugly leftists that want, that celebrate Charlie Kirk. That's not what I'm saying. But it's if you see it, it's not, you can't even describe it really. And it's beyond me. It really is beyond me. Here, let's get back into this real quick.
A cancel culture for anything liberal or left of center. If you're right wing, you can go as far as you want, say whatever the hell you want. You can fucking goose step and zig heil, like Elon Musk literally did. Like he did. Here's what Brian Kilmeade said on Fox and Friends the other day. Listen.
Billions of dollars to mental health and the homeless population. A lot of them.
Hold on, before we play that real quick. James Collins cares. Where are you going? Where are you going, brother? To do laundry? All right. It's kind of suspect. I'm just kidding, brother. Brother, you have a great day. And let's chat. I don't know which one of these is better. Which one's bigger for you guys to read? I guess that one's a little better. All right, brother. You have a good day. I will talk to you soon. All right, let's get back to this. My mouse does not want to work.
Don't want to take the programs. A lot of them don't want to get the help that is necessary. You can't give them a choice. Either you take the resources that we're going to give you, or you decide that you're going to be locked up in jail. That's the way it has to be now.
So he's saying with less words of what I was saying, but when you say something incendiary like that, like something that's a hot topic that could be misconstrued as explosive, I think you have to do a little extra Samsplaining before you say something like that, because it can be taken out of context, right? And at first, when I first seen this, I was like, oh, well, this is getting taken out of context. There's no way that this Fox newscaster would say this. Let me just back it up a tiny bit. And I'll let this play through and I won't interrupt.
Or you decide that you're going to be locked up in jail. That's the way it has to be now.
Or involuntary lethal injection or something. Just kill them.
Yeah, Brian, why did it have to get to this?
Involuntary.
Did you see that? Now, as a devil's advocate, as not a devil, I'm going to play the devil's advocate. I just said as the devil's advocate. Now that could be clipped and taken out of context, right? Anyways, I know what he was thinking. He was thinking specifically for this gentleman, and I haven't heard his apologies yet. I heard a little bit of one, but it seemed, I don't know, it seemed fakey, newsy, like a newsy scripted teleprompter thing. So I didn't finish it, but he's thinking, if someone unalives someone, they need to be unalived. He's probably pro death penalty, and he's processing that in his head. And so when it was his turn to speak, that came out. Now, maybe I'm giving him too much credit. I don't know. It is what it is, right? He shouldn't have said that. It's totally ugly. And to be fair to like the NBC guy, who didn't, I don't think, say anything even kind of close to that, if you're really thinking about it. Well, he blamed Charlie Kirk's death on Charlie Kirk, and they fired him instantly. I don't know. I'm just not pro cancel at all. But companies do have the right to let people go if they don't represent the mission statement of the company, the character of the company. If they don't reveal the character of the company. Right?
Lethal injection, just kill them. Involuntary lethal injection, just kill them. We have nearly 800,000 homeless people in this country. 800,000. We have about 30,000 homeless veterans in this country. For a lot of those people, it's literally just a money issue. Hey, I don't have the money to be able to pay to put a roof over my head. He wants to criminalize poverty and make the punishment the death penalty. The death penalty. Criminalize poverty. Jesus Christ. Literally a war on not only poor people, the poorest of poor people, the most downtrodden and left behind by society. Kill them. Fuck them. They don't count. Kill them all. Involuntary lethal injection is what he said. All right, well, guess what? The same week that a Fox host says kill them all, talking about homeless people, guess what happened? More than a dozen injured in Minneapolis shooting at homeless camp and near transit station. 8 people have been injured in a shooting at a homeless camp in Minneapolis, with 4 in critical condition. 8 people have been wounded, including 4 with critical injuries in a shooting at a homeless camp on private property in Minneapolis, police said. The shooting happened.
So now, who knows if this monster who did this seen that Fox News? But you know what? Maybe he did. And just for that, as Jen Marie said, like, I'm giving him way too much grace. I was basically just saying, like, you could go there. I wouldn't go there. And because this happened, he definitely needs to not work at Fox News. There has to be accountability, just like we call for accountability for others. and not even regarding this situation, but for other situations, I need to be accountable for all the things that I've done, and I have been. So I mean, I'm not gonna make posts and call for his termination or anything. I think it's gonna happen, almost absolutely. And I do think there was another, on the 16th, another shooting at a homeless shelter. I don't want to replay these stories. These stories are out there. If you guys want, I can put a link to them in the description. I just don't want to make another record of these crimes on YouTube, if that makes any sense. So let me go to, what else was I going to play? Let's listen to, well, let's watch a little bit of, these are always pretty funny. It's called Lefties Losing It. It's on Sky News. Is it Sky News? Sky News Australia. It's really funny most of the time. So we will watch that. And Grateful, I totally agree with you when you said it's just too much hatred. It is. And I've been praying about my show and about how I talk about stories, and even if there's no hatred in my heart at all about a story or about someone that we're talking about, I don't want to say things that can be taken that way, because I think it just feeds the hateful hatred beast that's out there, right? Because I will agree with Tommy on this thing too. I mean, I'm really agreeing with a lot of people that I don't agree with today. YouTube is full of deceit and hatred and AI phoniness, and we just have to. I want to maybe just create a lane here, a lane here where we can just try to just keep it real as much as possible, and like, call me out if you think that I've said something hateful. Call me out, and maybe I can explain, where I'm coming from. I know it's a joke about me Samsplaining things. So I'll probably beat you to the punch if I think it can, be taken that way. I don't want any hate on this channel. I just want to talk about these topics from a place of love, like starting from a place of love. And I said that like the very first show, that everything we do needs to come from a place of love. And I know there was some backsliding there with the things with Relatable Reese. But I mean, I always look at my part in things. And so I try to look at my part in even that situation. And, I admitted to what part was mine, but it wasn't much. It wasn't much. It didn't deserve what was happening to me. And I don't want to play the victim, but I do get to respond, right? I do get to respond. My voice isn't silent regarding that situation. Anyways, wow, I'm really playing the archaeologist today too. We're going way back. Okay, let's watch this Lefties Losing It. These are always pretty good. I think what makes this show is the commentator. She, with her accent, she has like this, like, wow, these lefties are really losing it today. All right, let's watch.
It's time for Lefties Losing It. And they're not only losing their minds, their tenuous grip on reality and their moral compass, lefties are also losing their jobs. Painfully unfunny, low-rating, tedious, afflicted comic Jimmy Kimmel is off air indefinitely, perhaps forever, after his shocking remarks regarding conservatives, regarding Charlie Kirk and the alleged
I'll talk about that Ben.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
And if that wasn't bad enough, he thought it'd be a good idea to launch into a diatribe mocking President Donald Trump's grief for Charlie. Jimmy got hit with the karma truck, and perhaps he should have listened to his own advice. Only last month, he was speaking with fellow TDS-afflicted comic Sarah Silverman and decrying those on the left who are repelling people from the Democrats, repelling them by saying awful stuff.
The woman that's going to be here with Jimmy Kimmel right now, he used to be married to her. So I just want to let you guys know that dynamic that's there. I thought she would have said something, but
Look in the mirror, Jimmy.
It's the loud voices that scare people from saying what they believe and make you think twice about a joke or whatever, you know, these things. And
Jimmy, this position from the left drives me nuts. After someone like Charlie Kirk doing exactly what he's talking about and being unalived. Where does that make sense?
You know, a lot of their points are valid, but a lot of them are also just repulsive. And I mean, they were in that they repel people.
And during that chat, we found out just how demented these two are because they are still bleating about fleeing the country, fleeing Trump's America. What are they waiting for? Be gone, miscreants.
Well, a lot of people I know are thinking about where they can get citizenship. And
I do have Italian. I did get Italian citizenship.
You do?
I do.
Oh, that's amazing.
I
You
do
knew
have
that.
And what's going on is
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt the video.
as bad
But
as
remember, hit that like button down below. It really helps the channel to grow bigger and better and more diverse. Not that weird, creepy kind of government diverse. I'll Samsplain it for you if you want. You want to hear some Samsplaining? Just like the video down below.
you thought it was going to be.
Way worse.
It's so much worse. It's just unbelievable. Like, I feel like it's probably even worse than he would like it to be.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I do every once in a while I'll Google Trump regrets or MAGA regrets just to see all the people that I'm not happy that they're upset and but it makes me hope that maybe this will bring people together.
These people are divorced from reality. They're almost beyond parody. I mean, how do you even mock that? For the record, every poll of Republican voters shows that there is no regret, that Republicans are terribly happy with their man. And those two miserable moaners also said that Trump's America is so much worse than their worst fears. But they're still in America. They have all the money, all the resources in the world to live wherever they want, and they remain in America. Now let's hear from Kamala's former boyfriend, Montel Williams, who had this sick take on Tyler Robinson.
Okay, before this starts, I want to be completely transparent about what Montel is about to say. When I first learned that Tyler Robinson, the gentleman that took away Charlie Kirk from us, when I first learned that he was living or having a relationship with a gentleman that's transitioning, and the first thing I thought of was he's doing this for his boyfriend, right? Because of his history as being a Republican with his parents, growing up Republican, then getting indoctrinated when he got to college. I thought to myself, oh, he met this guy. He's falling in love with him. This guy, or he was transitioning into a woman. He or she, I don't know when or what his pronouns were taking place. I thought No, he's just doing this to like, you know, look what I did, honey. You know, I took out your arch nemesis. That was my thought. And I don't necessarily disagree with Montel on this. I don't think Montel got a chance to really tell his entire process that he came up with this.
I believe he was motivated politically. I think this was motivated emotionally. I think this was a emotionally stunted person who literally, when I say it this way, just hear me, tried to defend his significant other, not trying to defend some ideology.
But although I do think there's clearly an ideological difference. So that's why I played.
Oh, see, I didn't hear that he said not trying to defend someone's ideology. Well, no, I think the ideology was there too. That's where I differ from Montel Williams.
About what they said about the family. I mean, the ideological difference that he was reacting to.
Now, the media lies and lies by omission continue, but every now and then they get called out. Listen here as Ted Cruz takes on Caitlin Collins' absurd claims that we have no idea why Charlie was murdered. The motives are unclear.
You said a lot there, and we don't have a motive yet. We don't know yet. We're waiting. Obviously, we've heard what the governor's had to say, what the FBI director said today.
Come on, we don't have a motive yet.
We know
we don't have a motive yet.
What's
really?
happening with
really? That's CNN's position.
I mean, from law enforcement,
he just happened to fire the gun in celebration. You can't tell the motive.
Senator, that's not what I said. And I said law enforcement hasn't laid out a direct motive. They've laid out a lot of evidence here of these messages and what
actually
the
they
shooter
have.
said
They've said that he was a left-wing
and to
activist who hated Charlie Kirk.
Yes, an absolute lie on CNN. Authorities have been clear in telling us that this individual was a far-left radical who hated Charlie and the so-called hateful message he was spreading, i.e. the truth. But Caitlin was determined to be embarrassed again. Watch her double down by making objectively
She's
false
Mrs.
claims.
Double Down. She doubles
I'm
down on
saying
everything.
that law enforcement has not put a specific motive. You know that there's a difference of what they're putting in a legal argument than what you're talking about. And you're not even we're not even arguing about the facts here.
What you just said is false,
Senator
Caitlin.
No.
Caitlin. Facts. Hold on a second. Let me answer your statement because what you said is factually
Senator, with all
false.
due respect,
law enforcement.
with all due respect, you're putting a lot of statements that I did not say. And I want to get back to, we just laid out the facts.
You just said law enforcement has not laid out a motive. That is objectively
we just spoke to the
false.
Deputy Attorney General.
That is objectively false.
They have not said
See how fast she's blinking, Ben?
what it was.
And
They laid out
Should
every
not be
evidence that we
engaged in
know so far.
misinformation.
What does that mean, Ben?
Not misinformation, Senator.
You already said it.
You were taking what I said.
This murderer is a Trump supporter. Have you seen that polling?
Let me get back to my questions, though, Senator, because the question.
See how me and Ben are on the same page? I was asking for Ben's advice about the thank you, James. I'll take care of that here in a second about the blink rate. And so I was like pointing out to Ben, but Ben was way ahead of me, man. By when did Ben say that? Oh. Yeah, he was way ahead of me. What? All right, let's watch the rest of this.
Question here.
And then we're all gonna hang out and talk.
Are you going to answer
what
that
you were
question?
saying
You
about
have seen that
investigations that you'd like to see.
So you're not going to
Senator,
answer
I'm the one asking the questions here.
Yes, you are asking the questions and answering them yourself, Caitlin. Will we hear from Senator Cruz at some point, I wonder? Will he be allowed to utter a single sentence without Caitlin talking over him?
And the question.
No, we were having a conversation. I understand that you want to say things that are factually false, and then you don't actually want the facts. You don't actually want the facts laid out.
Now, to round off lefties for the week, a week where we have been told to lower the temperature, where we've been told to calm down after one of our brightest, one of our most brilliant and most decent stars was assassinated, after we've watched his murder be celebrated, where we've watched the media lie, straight out lie about the alleged assassin and his motives, as well as lie about Charlie. They want us to come together, to be unified with those who want to see us dead. Well, Vice President J.D. Vance addressed those sentiments. He wants unity, but first we have to acknowledge the truth.
Something has gone very wrong with a lunatic fringe, a minority, but a growing and powerful minority on the far left. There is no unity with people who scream at children over their parents' politics. There is no unity with someone who lies about what Charlie Kirk said in order to excuse his murder. There is no unity with someone who harasses an innocent family the day after the father of that family lost a dear friend. There is no unity with the people who celebrate Charlie Kirk's assassination. And there is no unity with the people who fund these articles, who pay the salaries of these terrorist sympathizers, who argue that Charlie Kirk, a loving husband and father, deserved a shot to the neck because he spoke words with which they disagree. Did you know that the George Soros Open Society Foundation and the Ford Foundation, the groups who funded that disgusting article justifying Charlie's death, do you know they benefit from generous tax treatment? They are literally subsidized by you and me, the American taxpayer. And how do they reward us? By setting fire to the house built by the American family over 250 years. I'm desperate for our country to be united in condemnation of the actions and the ideas that killed my friend. I want it so badly that I will tell you a difficult truth. We can only have it with people who acknowledge that political violence is unacceptable, and when we work to dismantle the institutions that promote violence and terrorism in our own country.
Joining me now is political advisor and commentator CJ Pearson. CJ, Charlie Kirk was instrumental in J.D. Vance becoming vice president. J.D. Vance.
I don't know who this guy is, so I don't really want to hear what he has to say. I seen a comment and I want to get to it. I think it was from Jen Marie. There was no unity before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Absolutely there wasn't. And so I do think, aside from all the crazies that are doing all these, TikToks and shorts and things that are just screaming lunacy about the assassination, I do think one of the good things is that it's bringing a lot of people together. And as a Christian, it's taking a lot of people to church for some reason. I don't know how that happened. I get it. Charlie Kirk was a Christian. I don't know if these are non-saved people that are swarming these churches, where the regulars can't even find parking, which is great. They're not complaining. They're seeing it as kind of a harvest. And so something happened there that's unifying some people, and not just that, but just unifying people to think like, okay, what can I do? It's like, it was almost like a call to action. And this is before Charlie Kirk's wife did her speech on Sunday. This was all happening in real time. Anyways, but I agree with you 1,000,000%. There was definitely not a lot of unity. You destroyed Lady Diana Rose garden. I don't know what's going on with John. What's up, John? Good to see you. Let me get to some questions. I'm just gonna run back up the line and try to answer everyone's question. Question: is Robinson being charged with terrorism? It's coming. It's coming. They're rounding up the rest of the people that were in the know, and then that's when they'll be able to attach that terrorism charge. They've already designated the group that he was a part of as a terrorist threat group to the United States. So once they build that case, they already have him on the aggravated M word, the aggravated unaliving. More charges will be coming. Absolutely. They're probably going to throw some hate crime in there. It's gonna be nuts. I mean, a lot of people are calling for the death penalty. I don't know how I feel about that. Other cases, I know how I feel about it. But I guess I need to eventually just take a stance on no matter what, it's good or bad. I don't know. It's a touchy one for me because so many people have gotten off death row because of DNA. So I guess I would say, yeah, no, I don't think he needs to be unalived. So anyways, thanks for the question, Grateful. And it's good to see you. I'm so glad you came out this morning. All the meters stop showing political bias. That's a wonderful place to start. I don't know how it is in Great Britain. I'm assuming it's pretty bad or sort of bad. I know like there was some, a lot of reform happened when like all the tabloids were defaming a lot of people. So I know there was some reform. I don't know all the details about that. So I don't know what's going on there, but the media definitely needs to be what's it called, the Smith and Mund Act, or am I saying that right? Hold on, guys. I have it right here. I got it right here. Little bitty potty feet. It's the gag order creator background. I think it's called the Smith-Mund Act. Damn it. I don't know what happened to that. Let me just look at my other history. Oh yeah, there we go. My conversations. The Smith-Mund Act. And so when Obama and Biden came into office, they reduced the Smith-Mund Act. They called it the Modernization Act in 2012. Let me just talk about that a little bit. I don't know if you guys here. No, let me get to the questions in the comments first. And then I'll talk a little about that. All political violence is unacceptable. Absolutely, Jen. There was no unity before Charlie Kirk. I'm just looking for questions and comments real quick. Oh yeah, I got to get rid of the ads. Damn it. Hold up. I got the blunts rolled up. Not really. I don't smoke weed, but shit, why did I do that? Okay, ads are off. James, is that why you missed 10 minutes because of the ads? I need to permanently turn off those ads. Okay, ads are off. Grateful says, I've been pretty busy getting married in a couple of weeks. What? That is amazing. That's awesome. Congratulations. We are all so happy for you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we are so happy for you. Hopefully you will take pics and you at least will share one with us and I'll put it up. That would be awesome. We also do have a Facebook page where we can all hang out. We can share things. Like you could share pictures of your wedding if you wanted to. It just, I think everyone has a different feeling about privacy and things like that, especially when they're participating in a show where there might be opposition and they might want to take a stance on something, but be fearful of people's reactions. So I get that. So eventually I am going to close the group and make it private. And so it's just the Samsters in there. And a lot of my real friends are becoming Samsters also here on the streets. Here on those streets. But awesome. Congratulations on the wedding. Here's another question by Grateful. I'm still glad you're here. Do you think Luigi should be charged with terrorism? I don't know. I'd have to think about that. James Collins Cares question: do you think the political violence is only going to get worse, as it seems they are pushing for civil war on both sides? It seems to me. I don't think we are pushing for a civil war. Like, to say I'm in the center, right? I don't think they are pushing for civil war on our side. I know a lot of these trans and the Trantifa, they're calling themselves now, or I don't know if that's the name that we gave them, but the trans Antifa movement, they are calling for a civil war and a lot more violence. And I'm not just saying just them. I don't know every right-wing group that's on the right, so I don't know if anyone's calling for that. But there's no movement saying we need to meet this head on with more violence on the right-hand side. But, maybe today 100 posts will come up about that on X. I don't know. I do think that some people are scared. Ben Shapiro is acting like he's not scared. He says, no, I'm still going on my college tour. But I bet you he basically hires the Secret Service to protect him on that. Why wouldn't he? You have to. You have to. I wouldn't even do anything outside where there would be even an opportunity for something bad to happen. But he's going to continue to do his tours. I am afraid some right-wing guy is going to retaliate for Charlie. Charlie would not want that. I don't want that. I don't think most level-headed people on the right, center, right, would want that at all. Not even a little bit. It doesn't please God. Forget all the dumb shit, right? It doesn't please God. And it's a sin. Thou shalt not kill, no matter what. So I don't know how people who think that they can retaliate like that can call themselves Christians. Or I'm just saying, for someone to feel that serious about it, that heavy about it, about losing their leader, Charlie Kirk, that person would have to believe almost everything Charlie Kirk believed. And Charlie Kirk was an outspoken believer of God, an outspoken Christian. And so that person would be severely lost and mistaken to think that that's what Charlie Kirk, his wife, his family, Turning Point USA, no one there wants anyone on the other side to lose their life. Not one life, not one, stabbing. I always don't know what words I can use in the TOS when I talk about these things. Not one drop of blood should be shed. But what should happen is this We Are Charlie movement, to talk about coming together, working together on both sides. That has to be tweaked a little bit from to not leave room for others to say like, oh, they're a bunch of racists, or oh, they are homophobes, because that position isn't racist. Charlie's positions weren't homophobic. If he, I can't believe I'm even speaking so. I feel it in me to talk about this subject, and deep in me. It's not oh, hey guys, man, this is crazy. This needs to stop. No, it's I want to stand on a street corner and bring people to Christ because of this situation. I don't know. Anyways, I think I lost my original train of thought on that. Did I digress totally into a malaise of convoluted hate speech? I hope not. All right. I'm just going back looking for questions or comments. There's another one. And then I'll drop to the bottom. Robinson's being charged with tyranny. Yeah. If you made a comment or question before 9:55, could you please redo it? Because I'm going to go back down to the bottom. That way the show doesn't get too behind. And then looks like you guys are having an amazing conversation. Question, there are nudist camps in USA? Yep, absolutely. No violence there. I'm laughing because there's a nudist camp or a nudist beach right by where I grew up. And I remember them finding a woman who was unalive there with like her picnic basket and her towel. And that was violence at a nudist beach. That's why it stopped me for a second, because I totally think that that's crazy that would happen at a nudist camp. Violence is never the answer. Absolutely. I know several people who choose gummies over. Oh, you guys are talking about other things. You're welcome. Question off topic, but seriously, do gummies break sobriety? No. Susie Q, you probably have never heard me say this because you're pretty new to the show. We will stop dead in our tracks to talk about anything recovery. I mean, anything, no matter how big or small. If I'm say the president was just unalived, right? God forbid, and we're talking about that and it's breaking news and you asked a question like that, it's just, I mean, it's immediate. And we will stop and we will talk about those things. So I appreciate those questions, and I know a lot of the community does too, because that's who we are. So, question off topic, seriously, do gummies break sobriety? It depends. It really depends on what your sponsor tells you. If you have a sponsor, if you're worried about like your sobriety, like a date, how many years you have, not worried about it, but if you count those things and you have a sponsor and are working like a 12-step program, it does break your sobriety. It does. Now, but there are many paths to recovery. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying if that's your recovery path, if that's the path you've taken and you are still working that program, they will take your sobriety date away for that. Most definitely. And I can't believe I'm about to tell you this. I think it's such a be careful here. I'll preface what I'm about to say with something else. If you're taking that gummy because you're stressed out and you're having a hard time dealing with a certain situation and you're self-medicating with that gummy, I would absolutely not take that gummy. And I say that to say this, because if you break that if you start feeding that compulsion to use something, a mind-altering substance, it could be anything from alcohol to gummies to heroin. If you use anything to feed the compulsion to feel better because everything around you is crumbling, my advice, and this is just in my opinion, is to not do it and to find other ways to work through with what you're going through. But if you're like with friends and you're out like camping or at the beach and like everyone's having fun, sober or, drinking or whatever. I'm not saying drink alcohol at all, never. But a gummy when you're just hanging out with friends, or maybe you want to sleep better. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know there's going to be people that would disagree with that. But again, I must say, if you have a sponsor or working a program, talk to your sponsor about it. But I know what they are probably going to say. They're probably going to say something similar to what I just said, except for the goofy way I say shit. Yeah, and gummies aren't addictive. I mean, I guess for some people they are, but in general, they're not very addictive. But what is addicting is feeding the compulsion to feel better with something other than yourself, leaning into God. I would try those other things first, whatever spirituality that you practice, if you practice any. If you're worried about your sobriety, I'm guessing you have a higher power. I would hope it would be, God, because then you have a manual. The Holy Bible, the Living Bible is almost a manual for life. Not almost, it is. So I would hope that. But even if you just have a higher power, or that you have the willingness to believe that there's something greater than yourself, then I think you can lean in on those things before you took the gummy to help you to feel better because you're stressed out about a situation, a person, place, or thing, right? But if you're hanging out with friends, man, eat 10 gummies. Eat one for me. How about that? Eat a gummy for me. Eat 2. But yeah, thanks for that question. I love talking about that stuff. James Collins Care says, no, Sam, I missed 10 minutes getting my laundry ready. Oh, okay, brother. Oh, I thought you said you had to go to the laundromat. Hey, Ben. Ben says, to be quite clear, and before I read this out loud, I agree with this 1,000 million quadrillion gazillion percent. Ben Beckman says, to be quite clear, we have also known groups like the KGB and CCP have been working hard to influence both sides for decades. KGB defectors have said so since the 80s. There's so much more. There's so much more. I don't want to completely get into it because I do think Mossad might have something to do with this a tiny bit. I just want more information first before I put on that tinfoil hat. And I can't remember what day we decided that would be tinfoil hat conspiracy day, that we just get to talk about conspiracies. But we need to do that. We need to do that soon. Okay, I'm just looking for comments and questions. Okay, I think I've got them all except for the ones that might have come in. Yeah, thanks, Grateful. Hopefully she knew I was kidding. Can't do that. Man, I eat so many Swedish fish, especially the little ones. I feel like they're softer. Oh, Susie Q. Eat gummies, man. If you're using them for pain, absolutely. Before I would eat a Percocet or Oxycontin or a Percodam, baby. Percodam, mama. That's an Elvis thing. I would definitely try gummies for pain. Absolutely. They could become slightly addictive especially if you're using them for pain, because you're counting on the opioid of the drug. It's OPIOD of the drug, and so that little part can become addictive. It just depends on how big of a dose you end up getting to, Jen Marie says, comment, I want a soundboard. What kind of soundboard? Do you want to come on and soundboard something, or is there like an electronic, like a soundboard? Oh, do you mean like a soundboard, like at a concert? Yes, please, everybody, hit the like button. Please, if you've watched me and you like it, please subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. And I did an experiment a few weeks ago, and I got like, what was it, like 2,000 subscribers in like 3 weeks or something. Just from saying, hit the like button, hit subscribe, when there was like all that interaction with the videos. Man, it was amazing. Oh my goodness, words are. Yes, I seen that. Ben Bacon Bits. Ben Bacon Bits says words are losing their value. I saw one gal on police cam videos that was calling someone an Islamophobe because he cut her off in traffic. It's crazy. It's crazy. So yeah, but you're right. I do want to do a show about maybe I'll do a nighttime show where we just show the absurdity of it. I don't know, because it is absurd and there's so much more, but let me read this real quick. Jim Marie, Hassan Piker is the someone who will try to take out in retaliation. I've seen plenty of chatter, and I know for a fact that Charlie Kirk wouldn't wanted that. The two had a planned debate next week. They did have a planned debate, and I was really looking forward to that, especially after the Turning Point event. It's pretty cool. Oh, okay, yeah. I use a Stream Deck. They have like a mini one too that has like you can turn your phone into a Stream Deck. That you can have all those sounds. Yeah, I love it. I love it. But I do need to put more sounds on it. There's so much room. You can have so many pages of things. I can do this with it. It's connected to my camera. Boom, 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 boom. You can do that. Yeah, it's pretty dope. And I had it for a long time and never used it, which is crazy. Jemery says, I just got a ground news headline stating that chimps consume 2 alcoholic drinks a day. That's funny. That's pretty funny. Okay, guys. I do have therapy this morning, later morning. So I definitely need to get to that. What time is it? 10:24. What time did I start? 9? Oh yeah, that's a good show. Heck, I think we kind of killed it today. Well, welcome back to the Mayhem Show. I am so glad we're going to get this ball rolling again. Jen, I will call you as soon as I'm done. And James, I will get a hold of you as soon as that's done. Thank you so much for everyone for coming out. Cheryl Bobero, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for being here today. Yeah, that's awesome. I love doing these live when I'm feeling up to it, when things aren't falling apart around me in my personal life. These shows are so much fun. And I think it shows sometimes. Like I'll watch some shows and I'll be like, oh, I can tell like I was not even into it. My mind was somewhere else. Yeah, it's all nuts. I know all creators go through that. I'm no one special in that regard. Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming out. I'm not going to play the Charlie Kirk thing again. I'll play a little different something. What should I play? Should I just play the old one? I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm going to play the old one. I loved this one. This was the first outro I ever made. Yeah, I gifted it to her because I saw a show that Jen did, and I was like so amazed with like her investigative skills and what she was talking about, the knowledge. I was like, oh, you gotta know about this. Hey, Aloise, good to see you. So glad you're here. Anyone I missed, thank you so much for being here, part of the show. Please hit the like button on the way out. Please hit subscribe on the way out. It really helps the channel, helps keep me alive, keep my family alive, keep this channel going so we can keep doing bigger and better things. All right, guys, I love you. Bye.
Stay loud. Don't be woke. Stay wild. Stay awake. This was Morning